Hey, I'm Rob Patz.
I'm Jason Webb. This is Thrive with Rob and Jason, where we talk about faith, business, life, and just in general thriving. Right, Rob?
That's it. We're thriving. We're thriving even with the bad weather.
Bad weather all over the place, right? I know you're in Ohio. You're kind of the Flatlanders. Seems like every time I'm talking to you, signs are going off. You guys are getting warnings everywhere. Of course, it's bouncing in and out the internet. But we're getting it everywhere. You heard a couple months ago we had the really bad storms in Nebraska, which we were out there a couple weeks ago. We chatted with some of those people that were devastated by those storms.
Oh, yeah.
But it's been everywhere this spring. It seems to be.
We actually cool story with that was we got to the airport on the Wednesday before, and we're picked up by a company. Going to give him a quick shout out. He's not watching, but VIP Limousines in Omaha. They did a great job. The owner actually picked us up, which was super cool. And he was telling us about how the devastation by the airport and all the private planes and stuff, it was just intense. What they went through during that time. And it's really been, and I don't consider myself a storm chaser because I'm smarter than that, but I enjoy watching those that do. And immediately going, I would never do that. I would not do that. We watch several of those on YouTube where we watch these different storm chasers, and it scares me. It really does. Tornadoes, if you've never experienced a tornado, I did. I was 5 years old, and we experienced a tornado in our neighborhood, and it was scary. And the sound that you hear is like nothing else that you've ever heard. So it was crazy.
Yeah, at the Ignite event, we had there was one couple up on stage talking about that where he rushed home and as the tornado was there, they got in there, they got safe. There was only one place in the entire house right under the staircase they jumped into. Everything else was tore apart, but the right where they were at. And so we talk about God protecting and being around a lot of that, and a lot of those stories that they had about their neighborhood, about their the people around it. That's how that was, and there was nobody that was hurt within that specific one, which is incredible because how devastating that was.
No, it was crazy. But we talk about, of course, social media, how a lot of us got news and information about those storms, and still our local area, for us, the best way a lot of times to find it is locally on the internet. And Jason and I, 7 weeks in, we have our first giveaway. I mean, this is like a big deal for us, and we're super excited. We want you to go do this. Both Jason and I are very much mindful of social media. We make a good part of our living off of social media, and we had a chance to hang out with these guys, and we are doing a giveaway. Now, Jason just signed up yesterday. I was the early adapter. I was there in February at the NRB, and we had a chance to do that. Here's our giveaway. We're giving away some of these. It's you tell them the name of the company.
Yeah, Tuvu. Tuvu is basically, it's a community-driven company to where we are all in one community together. You think about different church groups, different home groups, different things like this within the faith community that we have. Well, this gives us an opportunity to do that online. And there's it's an app that you download. And again, we're giving away this for free for a certain amount of people within that on the QR code there. But we've partnered with them in building this out because the Abundant community, the Thrive community, we want to grow this and have, just this close network of people that want to grow and thrive together.
Yes. Oh, it's going to be cool. So if you want to go to a place, there's no ads, no bots. This is it. Jason just signed up. Jason needs friends. So go find Jason. I need friends. I think I only have like 19 or 29 or something like that. It's terrible.
Rob, and you said you had a head start at this. How far of a head start was that? I'm just,
About 2 months. So here's what we're going to do. Here's the challenge. Okay. Mm-hmm. So over the next few weeks, we're going to be giving away, because here's the thing. They don't have any advertisement. They don't have any of that, but they do charge. And that's the difference. And that's what makes it a great, safe community for you to be a part of, especially with our faith values and our family values that we have. Both Jason and I, it's neat to go to a place. It's refreshing to go to a place that is completely different.
Yeah.
And completely. Yeah, it's not like anything else. And we love Facebook. We're on Facebook right now. We love LinkedIn. We're on LinkedIn right now. And we're on X right now.
Yeah.
Formerly known as Twitter. I think Elon Musk did that on purpose. He wanted us to, instead of just saying Facebook, we now have to say, or because all you just say is Facebook.
Yes.
With Twitter, you've got to say X, formerly known as Twitter. So it takes you this whole time to figure that out. And I wonder how long that's going to be. Anyway, that's a whole nother subject for another day.
But
But
we're talking about the community aspect of it. Our guest today that I can't wait to get into, actually her community that she has on Facebook, it is incredible. An incredible person. Angel Tucci is our guest today. She is huge within radio, or was within radio, right, Angel? And podcasting. There's so many things that she does, and I can't wait to get into it today. Angel, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here. It's fun listening to weather and traditional radio. It's my background. I was a radio talk show host out of Denver, Colorado for over 10 years. And so the banter, the weather, traffic, all of that. I'm like, yeah, this is like so old school, and I'm loving it. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to be here this morning.
Well, thank you. Yeah, so you were in radio for a very long time. You moved away from that, and you also moved away from Colorado.
Like the whole thing. It was just time for a change. It was like my little midlife crisis. Left broadcasting, left radio. We were empty nesters. My husband and I changed careers. Like the whole like, yeah, I think it probably was an existential, can't even say that word, midlife crisis. But hashtag living our dream life right now. But it's really fun. It's really fun to be back in the studio with you.
That's fantastic. Yeah, when we started talking about radio and media things, as we connected through a mutual partner, which he's actually been on our show as well with J.R. Spear, that's who got us the connection here, and it's all about the community. We just talked about the Tuvu stuff that we have there, but that's how we got connected is networking and community. And so tell me a little bit about your community.
I love it, right? Was it Keith Ferrazzi who coined the phrase, your network is your net worth? Completely. And how incredible that we can be connected these days. It used to be you had to meet in person, right? Go and go to a networking event or go to, events where other people were. And now just through the benefit of technology, we can stay connected to people all over the globe. Love JR, love what he's building with his BLN community. I'm a BLN community member, excited that we got to be introduced here together. But I started a community when I lived in Denver. We actually had a community that we started, Jason, for our advertisers. Believe it or not. We had somebody who had said, hey, do you know that mortgage gal that advertised on that radio show that you kind of thing? And they didn't know each other. Mm-hmm. And I thought, here's a missed opportunity to bring our advertisers together because they support the same radio station, the same show. They could actually be a great community and network for each other. So we started hosting just little cocktail parties for our advertisers, which I'll tell you is incredibly unheard of in radio and traditional broadcasting because they start maybe comparing, what are you spending? What are you getting? What are your leads? What's your ROI, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like they don't want them to converse together. I don't know why. It was just very unheard of. But I'll tell you what, it made such a difference in our broadcasting because the average advertiser spends like 13 weeks. They'll buy an ad buy for a quarter, up to 13 weeks.
Yeah.
Our advertiser, Jason, stuck with us for over 3.5 years.
Holy moly. Really? That is unheard of. Yeah.
Networking, right? Building a community together. So that community, after we ended up being sold out of our ads, you could not buy any more ad space. We didn't have any more space available. So we opened up that networking community. We had over 600 people in that group when I closed it down and we left Denver. And now I have an online Facebook group. So here's how crazy this is. Started building a community online. Can that be done? But thanks to the pandemic, right, it really opened up people's eyes to say, yes, I will meet you virtually. Whereas maybe before it wasn't as much of a thing. We still thought we had to meet in person, right? Have meetings in person, one-on-ones in person, coffee chats, all of that, sales meetings, all of that had to be in person. And the pandemic showed us we didn't have to. We could do it virtually. I could be in Oklahoma and I could be in Oregon and then in San Diego, right? Bouncing back and forth, right? Got Zoom fatigue, Zoom butt, unfortunately. But I started an online community that we are about to, Jason, cross over 34,000 members in that Facebook community. And it really is all focused on people who want to be a guest on other people's podcasts or radio shows, right? So we bring hosts together who are looking for guests and those that want to be a guest, and we bring them together. It's a great place to network and build community. And I'm super excited. We've doubled in size in the last 12 months.
Yeah, we just threw the QR code right down there where people can check out the community through the website up there. That it's been really cool to see that. Hearing the story of that, the whole inspiration behind that, that's incredible. And really cool aspect of this is, we are a faith-based broadcast, but the community isn't necessarily faith-based, but you are. So how do you bring that into the fold without necessarily bringing it, out into the open?
You do what Jesus would do, right? He didn't just hang out like with all the churchgoers. He went to where the people were. And, and I say, Jesus is love, right? Like if you just go and show up in the world and stay true to your faith and exemplify what Jesus is doing in your life, like you'll be that light in the darkness. And oh my goodness, is the world so dark right now?
Right.
I think that my at church, we call them pre-Christians. So right, like it's just there's so much darkness out in the space, and I think if we can just show up and be authentic and be that light for the world. So no, the group isn't faith-based. We have everything. We have a ton of faith-based shows that have presence in the group, but it isn't. And I had a secular show. I also had a Christian, a faith-based show as well when I was in Denver.
Yeah.
And so, I played in both worlds, but I think I really love when people discover that I'm a Christian. Yeah. Because they're like, you're doing good things, you're bringing good people together, you're having this success, not without trials and challenges, right? Like we have that too, but they're seeing, like they're watching, people watch what you do. And then when they realize, oh yeah, she loves Jesus. Like, oh, of course she does.
Well, that's the great thing about it is there's such a stigma necessarily for faith-based leaders to say you do this, you do this, you do this, and that we kind of get stuck in a world where we're only dealing with, ministries or faith-based people, and being able to reach out to that, to the secular world to try to bring them into the fold necessarily, or even just show them how we live our lives by Jesus, by faith. That's incredible. So, as your group has grown to almost 34,000 members, did you think it was going to be like this when you started?
No, not like I said, we had one in Denver. We had 600 people. I thought we were the cat's pajamas, right? Like when you've got that size of a group. If it had hit 1,000 members, I was going to be thrilled. Mm-hmm. It hit 5,000 and I thought, oh my gosh, we're onto something. And then when we crossed over 10,000, I was just letting it grow organically. Mm-hmm. Once it hit 10,000, we really started to pay attention to the group, putting more quality in there, really focusing on it, because it was like, okay, it's taking off. I think I better pay attention to this. I said to my husband, I think I'm onto something here. And so in this last year, just really helping it to grow, be more present in it, putting in I've got community managers that help run the group, that help create engagement. I mean, it's a beast to run a Facebook group that's open to the public, that people can come in. Right. And there's a lot of spam and there's a lot of ick out in the world. But I think we do a really good job. I think, people are really excited about it. It is effective. They are finding guests. They are getting booked. They are finding community. And so I'm just trying to find more ways to just infuse more presence mm-hmm. in the group for myself, so that they know they're supported and that there's a resource. I think anything that we can do to just give people hope, right, in anything is a good thing.
And especially with the group is Need a Guest. Again, the QR code's on the screen, and it's for podcasters, it's for radio, it's for anybody that's looking for guests on your show. In that space, like talk to me about that piece. Like, why podcasting?
Right. Good question. Because my background wasn't podcasting. It was radio. Yeah. And so when I left broadcasting 5 years ago, I was still in that, very much in that radio space. I knew broadcasters, right? That was my world. But I also had connections in television with magazines. And then I started speaking to, I became a public speaker and started teaching entrepreneurs how to do their own PR, how to get booked. And so that segued into like this ecosystem of all sorts of platforms. Like I said, when that group hit 10,000 people, my clients started coming to me, Jason, saying, I only want to get booked on podcasts.
Really?
And like in a really short run, 4 different people saying almost exactly the same thing to me. And I'm looking at the group that had just crossed over 10,000. Clients are saying, I only want to get booked on podcasts. And so after kind of paying attention and looking and digging in a little deeper, decided to go all in over a year ago on podcasts specifically, because it just made really great sense.
Yeah.
If you're looking to get in front of a new audience, you're looking to build anything, your show. I mean, one of the things that I think as entrepreneurs and small business owners, we're so caught up in creating content, right? We're told content, which is great. We need content, adds value, right? Brings people into our sphere. But exposure is really the number one thing that we really need to be focused on if we're going to grow a thriving business, a profitable business. And where can you get more traffic, more exposure? Borrowing other people's audiences. So even if you have your own show, you should be a guest on other people's shows. When I started in radio, we were an unknown. I was a guest on other radio shows. I'd get up at 5 a.m. Like I just made myself available. And so what we've discovered, if you've got a show, a course, a book, right? You're a speaker. Like if you've got content and you need more traffic, need more leads to that, go and be a guest on podcasts. They are in front of your target audience. Yeah. They're easy to access, right? I'm in my own home. You're in your own home. Right? I didn't have to get on an airplane like I would, if it was a stage event. I didn't have any downtime, to come here and afterwards. They get you right in front of your audience. You get to tell your story. It's a dialogue. It's a conversation, which is more fun for the audience to listen to. Yeah. And the conversion, like if they like it, like if you've got people listening today who think, I want to get booked on shows, I want to be a guest, they're going to go and check out the QR code. They're going to go check out the Facebook group. If they have a show, I need guests. Where do I find great guests? They're going to check it out. Like it's a real easy conversion if you're talking to your target audience to meet your tribe, to meet your people.
Yeah. No, I love it. And podcasting has exploded. Just that whole genre, because people think that, radio has kind of went away, which really hasn't. It's just that audience has also grown within podcasting because it's that on-demand radio, especially when it comes to those discussions back and forth, right?
Oh my gosh, right? It's on demand. It's everywhere people want to be. We barely scratched the surface, I think, when it comes to podcast production. Really in the last couple of years, again, people are now really finding out like they can take it on the go, especially if it's audio. Right? An audio podcast, people have more time in their day to listen, right? They can listen to a podcast, listen to an audiobook. They can take you with them. Even if they pause and pick it back up. It is one of the fastest growing platforms to reach a thriving audience. If you truly want to make an impact and really watch what you two are doing, you started a brand new show and people are hungry. They're hungry for content, but you've also taken the next step and giving them a platform that's easy for them to consume the show. You're consistent, you've got great content, and you're talking about something that people love to listen to. So you've got great voices, you've got great banter, you've got good chemistry. You've really got a winning show here.
Oh, thank you. Rob, what do you got?
Well, I wanted to ask her something because she said a really interesting point. And being a radio guy, that's how I got my start in broadcasting. Before I went on to TV. And then I got too old and then they kicked me off TV. So another story for another day. But if somebody's out there listening to this or watching this, what would you suggest if they want to start a podcast? Go straight to video, or should they start with just audio? What's your thoughts on that?
When it comes to content, right? The more lives, the better, right? So somebody said, if you're going to speak, record it, right? Do it video, do it audio, transcribe it, put it into a blog, right? Like slice it up, put it into reels, like give it many lives, right? As many as you can. if you're not comfortable with video, then don't do video, right? Wait until you get comfortable.
Mhm.
I'd much rather you have something than nothing, right? It doesn't have to be perfect to get started. Like everybody looks back at their beginning stuff and thinks, oh my gosh, that was horrible. Like I was pathetic. But you started somewhere. My son started a YouTube channel 8 years ago. He just went viral. Like he just got it monetized after 8 years. And he's like, Mom, everybody's telling me, you got to have a good thumbnail. You got to have, this equipment, that equipment. He's like, good content consistently every week. Like you do you. So if you want video, like give it as many lives as you can. Like that's going to be the smartest move. But if you're not comfortable with it, start with what you're comfortable with and just get started.
Well, getting done is better than good in a lot of the occasions, and that's what holds a lot of people back is they just they don't know where to start. But just start recording content. Just start getting putting it out there and doing it. So in doing that or in talking about that, couple questions, but I'll get to the second one here in a minute. But tell me, there's a lot of our audience that doesn't do anything with podcasting, doesn't know anything about podcasting, but they have interest in this because everybody has a story, and our stories that's how we transform lives. So if people had any ideas or thoughts about doing a podcast, what are some ways to start?
Yeah, stories are sticky, right? Stories are what get good airtime. We can go and Google how to do something, but it's the stories that really matter. In fact, I help people become authors, right, and publish their books. And I tell them the difference between your book and every other book out there and why it's so unique is your stories, right? Because nobody else has your stories. So, if you were to just think about like things that like you remember, like if you were around a campfire, right? And you're passing on or at a cocktail party or at a backyard barbecue, like what are the funny stories, right? What are the scary stories? What are the interesting stories? What are the stories you like to share? It doesn't even naturally have to lead to a point or a lesson, not yet. Just get really comfortable with converting and turning something into a story, because that's what people will take away. And that's going to be your best asset and something that nobody else has, right? Because it's your story.
Yeah, exactly. And your story can change somebody's lives. Whether you think it can or not, there's people that have been in your situation that you've moved past and they would like to be in your situation. And so they hear your transformational story and that transforms them. It's kind of it's that faith-based side of us saying, we can't change lives, Jesus can. We just have to introduce them to Jesus, right?
There you go. Right. And it's our story, right, of how we're walking with him, how we're, how we have faith, right, in the dark times. Like there it is. It's our stories that bring people together. And I think that we forget. I think a lot of times we think nobody wants to hear my story, right? We get in our own heads. It's not interesting. Who would want to listen to that? Like we beat ourselves up. Yeah. But I tell people, like, what you think is ordinary is magic to others. Like you said, you've walked a walk, you're one step ahead of them. You've gone through something similar and you came out the other side, right? You might've been scarred and bruised, but you're still kicking. So it is like, just turn on that microphone and start sharing life with others.
So in now secondary question with this, within your community, tell me some success stories. Like, how big is everything? Or tell me some good things.
Right, some really good things. So we did started this group, right, from zero, right, nothing to now it's getting ready to this week. I'm pretty sure we're going to cross over 34,000 members, which is amazing to me that it has grown to that capacity. That it's like, and we're really just getting started. I think when I start to look at some of the others, the other larger groups, which I was never really paying attention to, I can see we're just really starting to tip that iceberg. But really the impact and the reach. I mean, if we go and we get on somebody else's podcast and it goes viral, or, it has expansion. I mean, think about if you did 2 interviews a week, which is what I've been doing now for 5 years, 2 interviews a week. I've been on probably 200 podcasts, the reach and the impact, but we'll never know it, right? We'll never know. I heard this story one time that said, it's like this little parable that you're at the end of your days, right? And you're given this box. And in this box, like, it has your name on it. It's this really fancy box. You open up the box and inside are a bunch of pieces of paper folded up like in little fours. and you open up the first piece of paper and there's a name and you don't recognize the name, and you open up another and there's another name, and you're opening up and there's all these names in this box, and you're like, I think you gave me the wrong box because I don't recognize any of these names. Like, I don't know any of these people.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the box of the people whose lives you impacted that you never got to meet.
It's the ripple effect.
Wow, right? Think about this, Jason. Think about this, Rob. You go out and you open up and you are streaming. You're reaching and touching people. You will never, ever know their names. You will never meet. Like, your paths will never cross. But our job is to fill that box.
Mm-hmm.
Is to fill that box with names of people we will never meet. And the only way to do that is to turn on that microphone, right? And go and speak and share your story. Doesn't matter if there's one person listening, 2 people, 100 people, 1,000 people. You truly can impact hundreds, thousands, millions by being a guest on other people's podcasts, by starting your own show. But our job is really to fill that box with names of people that we will never meet, and to be A-okay with that.
I love that. That is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people, they have, they get stage fright in terms of talking in front of people. Well, when you're talking to a microphone, you're not talking in front of them. You can tell your story. You're just talking to a camera. You don't know who those people are going to reach. And so it takes that aspect away a little bit, where you don't need to be afraid, because it's just having conversations.
It's a dialogue. I had incredible stage fright in high school, right? I almost didn't graduate because of my fear of public speaking. But you're right. It's a conversation. It's a dialogue. You don't have to have a signature talk. You don't have to have a website presentation. Somebody's asking you questions about something you're excited to talk about. And you're just having that dialogue and having that conversation. So
you're telling me
it is easier.
That you had stage fright?
Oh, completely. Holy cow, completely. Yes. In fact, in high school, we had to go into our high school broadcast studio and read copy, like an advertising copy, into a microphone. I couldn't even get any volume out. My mouth dried up, butterflies, the whole thing. I took a public speaking course in 2017, so just like less than 10 years ago, because doing radio is not public speaking. Right? It is way better, easier to sit in a studio. Look, I would just pretend my mom was listening, whether or not she was or not, right? I have incredible stage fright. Took a public speaking class, and I almost couldn't even finish my presentation there because my mouth dried up.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do they tell you when you're afraid of something? Just go do it.
Mm-hmm.
So that first year after leaving broadcasting, I spoke on over 100 stages, got myself up. I tell people, with one foot in terrified, the other foot in excited, and off to the races we went. Public speaking's not where I'm most comfortable. I do it because I know there's a message that needs to be shared.
Yeah, I love it. Well, the QR code is right down there. We've had quite a few people scan it down there. As it pops up and lets us know when people are scanning it. It is a free group to join. Guys, check that out. Rob, you've been listening to this. What do you think?
It tells you when people scan it?
We know when just like right now.
Want somebody just
scanned it. Look at that. That's amazing. Oh my gosh. That's so awesome.
I love what you say, and it's true. When you're talking to, Jason said, you're talking to just the mic. And I love what you said too about the people that we don't know we're touching. I think so much and so often we get carried away with numbers. People that are in broadcasting, people that are in social media, people that, we're like, ooh, how many likes did we get? How many people? We look at our ratings and go, how many people were listening? Arbitron or whatever, Nielsen if you're television. And I love what you said, is that is the impact that we make and that we don't know. We don't know all the people that watch our show each week. And it is awesome. And so if you're out there, join this group. It's an amazing group. I'm a part of it now. Join the group. If you're a author, or maybe you have a story to tell, we would love for you to be part of this group. And there are great places for you, and she has made this a great vehicle for you to get seen. Yeah.
It's incredible. Angel, we are so grateful for you today. Thank you so much for being on our show. Just love your heart, love what you're doing, and getting this out there to people. So thank you.
You bet. I can't wait to share this show with my mom and with all of our followers as well. You guys are doing such a great job. I love it. Right? Just stay the course. There's no such thing as failure only feedback. And you're right. Don't get caught up in the numbers. My son, when his first video went viral, he's like, Mom, I could chase the algorithm, or I could just continue to do what I love. And when he continued to do it the way he loved it, it grew anyways. So yes, follow your passion, follow your heart, and let the numbers chase you.
Thank you so much for being with us. Hey, buddy, we've come to another end. I can't believe it. We're done. It's crazy how that happened. Hey, check out our giveaway. Go right there. Check it out. Just that way. There we go. We'd love for you to check out the giveaway. We're doing that with
Tuvu, right? Because he keeps messing that up. So Tuvu, free
Tuvu.
Wells. We're giving away for some spots on that. Click that code, join it, and be part of the abundant community.
Man, it has been great. We will see you all again next week. As I tell you every time, go out and thrive in your community.